Well, it's been an interesting morning. Had probably an hour talk with the guy who owns the property down in Honduras, and he's got some thinking. He needs to decide which route he wants to go, how he wants to do. I explained what would have to be done in order to grow his operation and everything that involved, and so he has to decide whether he wants to run that type of a route, which you're looking at a year, 2 years. It's lengthy. It just doesn't happen by magic. Or he wants to go a different route. So he's thinking about that, and we discussed all the varying possibilities, and that one we'll see. And in the midst of that, we had somebody who called who wants to look at the house this afternoon, so I don't know how quick, or I don't know. This is one of those things. Will it work out? I think the price we're offering for the house is a very good deal. Considering, Cupid's Keys, I don't know, maybe it's 50 acres, maybe. This is the only property that's really available. You could use it commercial, you could use it residential. I mean, it has great commercial possibilities given what's going on over here. So I don't know what will transpire, how quickly it'll transpire, so we'll see. Okay, this first part, like I've showed you before, always wet the filter. That way it gets rid of any of the paper taste from this filter. And I just saw another company, and I'm not sure, Blue Bottle, which is another coffee company, has a similar to this, except it says Blue Bottle on it. And what they've done is their filters don't need to be washed, according to them, because they're made from bamboo. Interesting concept. Okay, so cup. Oh, I forgot. All right, I already ground the coffee. And part of this, okay, so I'm going to put the coffee in. Good. And just tap it around because I want it to be sort of flat like that. And part of this, okay, so then I'm going to hit it, boom. Now we're down to 0 again. Because in this, I've got 30 grams of coffee, and I'm going to put in 350 grams of water to make it. Now, one of the things in this up-and-coming coffee thing, this is a real challenge, I think, or at least in my mind it is that this is a pour-over method. There's French press methods. There's, the regular coffee pot that most people have. Trying to roast a coffee that's going to be good if you do it this way, or if you do it another way. It's tricky because I know not everybody's going to take the time to boil the water, have a pot like this, have the scale, have the setup. A lot of people aren't going to have the time. You get up in the morning, you don't want to take that much. You put the coffee on, you go take a shower, do what you need to do, you come out, have your coffee, and go. But in this case, this is what we're working on. So what you do in a pour over is you start just gently in the middle, and just what you want to try to do is slowly, evenly wet all the grounds, and I'll show you, so that the coffee, you see it bubbling? And how it's coned. Okay, so that's how that goes. So next, I'm going to do a couple other pours, and we're going to bring this up to 350 millimeters, and that will be this way of brewing. But this is not everybody's going to do this, like I said. And when you do this, you want to do it relatively slowly, and make sure you get all the way out on the edges so that you And I usually do this, it takes usually about four pours of water to get this in right. Oh, and while it's doing that, one of the things to test your grind with, this should take, for this whole process, from when you start to when it's done, should take about between 2.5 and 3.5 minutes. If it's taking less than that, your course is probably too fine, and it can't get through, and I mean too thick, coarsely ground. And if it's taking longer, then it's probably too finely ground. So just a touch more, and there we're at 352. So now this will go down, and then we can test it. Well, I gotta run up to Rainbow Bay. Somebody's interested in the car, and they wanted their mechanic to look at it. So we've been waiting like, I don't know, week and a half, 2 weeks, and of course the mechanic hasn't had time to come up to look at it. So I offered to drive it up to him. It's not that far. I mean, you got like a 20-minute drive, and have him take a look at the car. Then he can tell the guy who's interested in buying it, and then hopefully he likes the car. He just wants to make sure it's in good shape, and it is in good shape. I mean, well, I think it's in good shape. I'm not a mechanic, but it's, you know, we've always done, changed the oil, this needs doing, that needs doing, everything's been taken care of. So that's where I'm headed next. So I've been, you know, I told you this morning I had that conversation with the person who has that house on that house, sort of a small resort place on the island off Honduras, and I can't say the name. It's Guanaji, and it's not a super big island. There's looks to be an interesting place because there's, you know, potential diving. I guess there's good fishing, sport fishing, fly fishing, that kind of thing. Most of the island is forested, so I've been trying to think of what is it that I could do that would help promote this person's business, try to, you know, get it to grow. And, you know, I'm coming up with some ideas and stuff. You know, I don't know what their plans are. It's a husband and wife, and I don't know, they have to decide how they want to proceed before I get too involved in thinking about what I could do. But, you know, I like to be prepared. And so I was looking at the island, Google Maps, and seeing what it had for beaches, what it had for ports, and various things. So if something comes of it, well, then I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. just don't know. I guess I'm just like too American or something. So, a guy wants to buy this car. So he's been trying to get the mechanic to come up to Governor's to take a look at it. That didn't work, so I said, okay, fine, I'll drive it up to him. And the guy wants to buy the car. I said, make an appointment with him and I'll drive it up there. So the guy makes the appointment, 2:30. And I said, okay, well, given everything and then being here, I'll go early at 2 o'clock. Guess what? He's not there. And he drives the school bus. He already left to go drive the school bus. He won't be back till 4:35. I don't know. There's just some things here that are like, seriously. You know, that's one of my, I guess you'd call that a pet peeve. It's really more than that, but it happens down here all the time. You know, I'm pretty prompt on appointments and stuff like that because, you know, I don't look at it that it's just my time. I look at it, you know, try to be respectful and say, okay, the other person is busy, they have time constraints, they're doing certain things, so I respect that, and I try to be punctual. I kind of expect the same thing of other people, but yeah, that's probably not a realistic expectation a lot of times. But I mean, so I've driven all the way up here. Now I got to go back, and I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I'm not going to continue to do this. That's that situation, because it's time, gas, not going to happen. I'll have to figure out something else, I guess. I have to tell you, the potholes are doing very well. Good pothole season so far. So I'm going to end up with a little bit time that I didn't have before, so I'll be able to do a little painting out front. My original plan today was to do some painting out front in the morning and then second coat in the afternoon, but I guess instead I'll do first coat in the afternoon and second coat tomorrow morning. And that way she'll be pretty much painted, mostly. By tomorrow afternoon it should be painted. That way I don't have to deal with that anymore, and there's other places I've got to paint, so, you know, painting. It's like a continual, you get done and it's time to paint another place, so. Okay, you ready for this one? I don't know where the miscommunication came from, but the guy I was supposed to meet, the mechanic, to look at the car, he came this way to Governor's to see the car, and meanwhile I'm going that way to have him see the car. So I don't know where the miscommunication came from, but anyway, hopefully tomorrow, so it really wasn't his fault. I know I said some things before, but it wasn't really his fault, I guess. Somebody had a miscommunication. The message I got was, be at his place at 2:30. So he's supposed to call me tomorrow morning at 9, hopefully, and then he can look at the car, and if the guy is interested in buying it, is happy with whatever he tells him, should be good.